I believe time's flying again. I'm going to move on to the final question.
Thank you. Roy Wallington, Carillion, and it's really picking up this issue about jobs, getting people back to work, and particularly young people. Upstairs we were talking about young people training. Carillion, we generated, want to use that word, take about 1,500 young people through proper apprenticeships every year across the UK. Really my question, looking at a bunch of new Scottish MSPs, what can we do together, Scottish Government, business, big business like us, small business, what can we do to help those young people who have fallen off the conveyor belt of education through to work and are doing nothing? How do we develop their skills? How do we create the training and job development opportunities for them? And how can we do that in Scotland?
Alison, before those in power in various parts of the UK answer that question, where would you fit in that question, and how would you seek to change what these guys are doing at the moment?
I think we have to understand that there are a lot of young people for whom academia is not, it's just not the route for them, and they've struggled through school, and I think far too often they feel a bit worthless, and I really do think we've got to address that as a society. I think we've got to make sure our further education colleges receive as much attention as our higher education institutions do. I really do think we've got to make sure that there's equity and understanding. There are many nations in the world where we don't have the disparity in payment for various careers, and people are valued more equally, and I think we need to get our heads around that. But I think by investing in the low carbon economy as a nation, the potential for jobs growth is amazing. We had a proposal to insulate every home in Scotland. Obviously, that's quite a big skill-intensive job because we have so many diverse buildings. We can't just go in and, blast whatever it is, in cavity wall insulation. We have a lot of old stone properties and so on. There's a great need for training and skills development in that area. Anne's already highlighted the dearth of bricklayers, stonemasons and so on. So there are countless avenues in which we could grow jobs and skill our young people, and we have to be very serious and make sure that we do, or what will the future be like for them and for us?
Okay, Willie, the question in two parts: what can the UK government do in regards to this question, and secondly, what can the Scottish government do to support work in terms of trying to get people through apprenticeships and developing a wider skills base?
I mean, the most important thing by far is getting the economy back on track. That is by far the most important thing. We can fiddle around on the edge of a lot of that stuff, but unless we get the economy back on track. The second thing is making sure that we have what Alison says, is getting the right kind of college places funded. We need to make sure we have flexible training arrangements so that if people don't want to go to college, they can do other forms of training and support, through businesses in partnership. And we need to be flexible about it, and depending what the student wants and depends what the business wants. So we should be prepared to listen to business to see what models they've got. But fundamentally, it's making sure that when the economy recovers, then we need to have people suitably trained so that they can take up the jobs that will be created. And trying to get those two to run in tandem is a tricky job, really tricky job, especially when the finance has been reduced. But that's the kind of complex arrangement that we need to try and resolve.
And so fast forward to budget process and budget discussion for 2012-13. Which particular aspect on that would you be pressing on?
College places is the crucial thing, yeah.
Okay, Marco?
I have two brothers. One went to college, one went into a youth training skills scheme, and I went to university from school. And it's actually the one that went into the youth training skills scheme that earned the most since leaving school. We have kind of lived the range of directions that people can go, and I would say the most important thing is to stop the loss of people at 16. We introduced across local authorities a 16 plus learning choices scheme, which aims to, it ensures every person at that point gets some kind of positive offer, whether that's an apprenticeship, continuing at school, training, that to bring that up to 100%. Now obviously there's all the people that are already in the situation, that have already passed through the system and are now looking for employment. I would echo what Alison said. The green economy offers us a tremendous opportunity to have a wide range of skill sets in the economy and to create that employment. there's a little bit sometimes of a disjoint in colleges between the courses that people demand and the courses that the economy needs. We have to address that. But the green economy, and to echo Gordon Brown slightly, a different way, a bit of unreconstructed neo-Keynesian demand stimulus never goes wrong either. Thank
you very much. Can I just pull together that session and bring it to an end? I just want to highlight 3 phrases. Actually, Marco, you've outdone me on the phraseology, but 3 phrases which I think were really interesting coming out of that session in terms of how politics has moved on in Scotland. Marco kicked off with, "We had a straightforward coalition," which was a remarkable assessment of how times have changed from one-party dominance pre-Scottish Parliament and the change in the electoral system, and how people take for granted that coalitions are part and parcel of the settlement now in Scotland. And then, I can't remember who it was, said whether Scotland goes it alone within the UK. I think it may have been you, Graham. And that debate about the Constitution and Devo Max and Delight, Scotland goes it alone in independence in the UK. Is that a title that anybody could get their head round? But there's clearly an issue there in terms of that constitutional debate and where on that spectrum the referendum will lie and what that question will be. And then finally, I think, in terms of moving on into the public service reform debate, Willie's point about don't fret about postcode lottery and being able to be brave enough to enable local people to take decisions and to dare to be different from other parts of the country. And I think that is a characteristic which we've seen in each of the 3 panellists today. And certainly, listening to the answers that we've had, I've been hugely heartened by not just the content but the tenor of their contributions, and I'm sure you have too, and you would like to join me in thanking our 3 newly elected MSPs, Marco, Alison and Willie. Thank you.